Thanks very much, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Tim Webster there with Brian Mayfield-Smith, as I said, the winning trainer from race 3. Now, if you haven't had much luck this week, you better stay with us because race 4 is coming up after the break. Some images there of night racing, one of the latest and newest additions to the racing calendar. It's pretty exciting, and it's being conducted these days at Moonee Valley, Canterbury and Toowoomba. So as you can see, just more and more racing filling up our calendar, and as I said, a recent addition and proving hugely successful. Well, if you've ever wondered exactly who determines the weights that the horses carry, it is a mystery to many of us, but not so to one man, BRC handicapper Jim Bowler. To him, it's all in a day's work.
In my predecessor's years, the late Kevin Ryan, I think New Zealand was a challenge to him, but I think we've broadened our horizons now and we go to France, to Great Britain and to other areas, and they do present a challenge. You meet new people, you ask them their opinions, you watch videotapes of their performances, and then you have to meld them with the local content. Over recent years, we are learning just as much about them as they are learning about us. This exchange of information via email and via video, etc., has created a tremendous amount of information exchange. And so as we build up over the years from vintage crop from his year right through till today, we're changing. We have to have a changing face. We have to bring their form in, analyse the ones that have raced well, but also analyse the ones that haven't raced well. On the phone late at night as the time zones change, and we talk about the Arctic Owls, Enzali and all these horses, Montrachet from France, who we'll see, and the lower weighted ones as well. We talk of 53 horses as original nominations as if they were all going to run in the Melbourne Cup. I identify with owners and trainers that winning is everything. That's what they're there to achieve. From our perspective, though, we look for a competitive finish, and I think certainly in that, with the Persian Punches and Yavanas, Paces and all these horses, we've had that competitive edge. And I think as long as we achieve that and put them in the race with that chance, then we've achieved our goals. I think we're all self-critical. It's part and parcel of our makeup in the job we do, and I think I'm no less person in that than anyone else. I'd like probably about 3 or 4 to 1 the field, and as long as when they go past Des Gleeson at the clock tower, there's half a dozen horses fighting it out, and perhaps even on the line, a tinge of might and power and Doremus, that'll just add a bit of icing to the cake.
Tough job there for Jim Bowler, but you know, it's nice to finally know who's responsible and how it all happens. Now, who's responsible not necessarily for the outcome of race 4, but certainly to give us all the details. Peter and Jenny are in the mounting yard for the 1400 metre race. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sandra. Good afternoon again, and if you may be just joining us on our final day coverage, wherever you're watching around Australia or around the world, a special welcome again to our friends through the United States of America, Jen, to what has been a wonderful week, and it continues here with the Sutcliffe Stakes Race 4.
It sure does, and we should probably let some people know too about the swab test for Scalato from the Derby, who started the favourite. That was clear, so yes. If you're wondering what happened there.
A lot of controversy about that on Saturday, but the test originally has turned up clear for trainer Clary Connors. I'm sure that'll be a load off his mind.
Absolutely.
I think the laboratory test, they come back on Monday, so there's another one still to go. All right, let's have a look at these horses, and we start off with this big grey fellow in Keffel, number 1. And John Letts walking past, and he's still talking, and he'll probably still be talking during the race. Be quiet, Lettsy. We're looking at Keffel. It's showing $5.10, and Patrick Payne has the ride for Ron Morn. Gee, I thought his run was good the other day on the wrong side of the track, Jen.
That's right. Coming down the outside on Saturday, I thought he went very well. He won by 5 lengths, the outside division, of course. He steps up to the 1400 metres. That'll suit him. He's got plenty of weight, though.
Now, number 2 keeper, Greg Hall, the rider for Graham Rogerson. This horse loomed up on the turn at Caulfield, looked to be absolutely trotting, and went for from bolting to beaten in about 3 strides.
That's for sure. I think they tried to make a bit of a stayer out of him, and it didn't really work. He's back to the 1400 metres now, and that's much more suitable for him. He's an honest type, and he's some chance in the race.
There's Peter Hayes issuing the instructions prior to the race. Number 3 is Lord Dane. Matthew Ellerton, the trainer. We just saw a story on the young man who's made a name for himself. Can he get a winner here with Jimmy Cassidy, who thankfully has recovered from his tumble on Thursday?
Yes, certainly not out of it, Lord Dane. He went well on Tuesday down the straight. He looks very well suited going up to the 1400 metres here, and I've given him a good chance in the race.
Brian Mayfield Smith has already had a winner with the previous one, the Collector. He's got Polish Echo engaged here, and once again he's thrown Sam Hyland on top.
Well, he was Derby bound, this horse, Polish Echo, and then something went amiss with him. I believe he was bitten by a spider, Peter, and a white-tailed spider, so he's recovering from that, but I think he'll go quite well. He's certainly got some ability.
I thought you were going to say there was a red bag on the toilet seat. Number 6 is Kel Sheeky, Damien Oliver, the rider for Bruce Elkington. Damien's already tasted victory twice today.
Thought he battled on very well last start at Moonee Valley. He was 3 wide outside the lead there. No match really for the winner, El Nino, he's contesting against in this race, but he's probably there with some place chance in the race.
Speaking of El Nino, number 7, there he is. Good-looking horse, this fellow. Stephen Basta takes the ride for Peter Hayes.
Got a good run through at Moonee Valley and won quite well there. The 1400 metres looks pretty well ideal for El Nino, and I've left him with a pretty good chance in the race as well.
I thought opener number 9 had a bit of an each-way chance at odds, Jen. Glenn Boss, the rider for Tony Noonan, did get to the line very well at Moonee Valley.
Yes, coming from last there, Peter. There's a bit more depth in this race, though, I thought, and I'd give him only a place chance in this.
Yeah, so just take note of the colours there. It is the white with the purple stripes for opener number 9. And then we go over to number 12, and that is Tuscola, and that's the one you've gone for.
Well, I have it at the odds, Peter. I think on his first up win, I thought it was a nice win at Morfordville, and then sitting 3 or 4 wide, he didn't have any cover there at Caulfield. Just tired the last little bit, but he was entitled to, so he can definitely improve in this race.
And you've only fixed it up by about $20, Jen. It's drifted right in, so let's have a look at the entire field tape-wise for race 4. As they're about to head to the stalls, here's Dan Malicki in the commentary box.
Thanks again, Pete. Keffel at $4.90 has remained solid throughout. Keeper, $6.90, $5.60 Lord Dane, so there are lots of chances here. Even Surfboard, one of the outsiders, only around the $27 mark. El Nino, number 7, is at $4.90 and joint favourite at the moment. Double figure odds for the other runners on the second page. The best of 12 Tuscola at $15. So a number of horses in the market on the tote. What about on the ring, Tim Gossage?
Big go number 1, Keffel here, Dan. A very, very impressive effort to run third on Saturday on the wrong side of the track, and the punters have rallied for the top weight. Keffel, they've also come for number 7, El Nino from the Hayes stable, but their stable's noted for coming late in the ring, so there's still about each way odds, that one, number 7, El Nino. But the biggest go today, no doubt, is number 1, Keffel, in the next little jump favourite.
Yeah, and I think he's probably entitled to Tim Gossage. He's my selection, along with Richard Friedman, Tuscola from Jennifer, Lord Dane from Johnny Letts, and El Nino from Dan Malicki and Gary Willits, as they head to the 1400 metre barrier, which is over on the far side, right near the Smithfield Road Bridge, alongside the Maribyrnong River, and they will jump out of the 1400 metre gates with a field of 13 running here. So they'll still need to get a position because, as we've told you throughout this carnival, if you trap wide over the 1400, you can be posted out there.
Yes, your 2 worst barriers, Pete, are the 14 and 1600.
Yep.
They're the... I
haven't introduced you yet, by the way. By the way, here's Roy Higgins, courtesy of Sport 927.
Thank you, Sir Peter. Incidentally, there has been, as you mentioned, a big move in the yard for the top weight. Worries me a little bit. He's a very light frame guy. It was an excellent run here on Saturday down the outside of the straight 6. But he's going at 58 on. He's only a small framed horse up to the 1400. A couple of little question marks there. I can assure you, though, he is a very fit horse. I haven't put him in my top 4. I went with the 7 El Nino. This is a very nice horse by the great horse June, the Melbourne Cup winner. Excellent win at Moonee Valley at the night meeting, and he looks as though he's taken the next step and improved. 2 nice horses down near the bottom, number 12 Tuscola and 13 Zoom Zorro's Lad. Gee, they're nice horses. Young horses on the up, and I think they'll be competitive. And number 3 Lord Dane, probably one of the fittest horses in the race. I marked them 7, 12, 13 and 3. Pete?
Now, just before you go, Roy, I want to point out to you, Johnny Letts said something terrible about you not riding in the Legends race before. A few people will tell you that it was me who said it, but don't listen to them.
The story's already out.
Oh, right. OK. I'm in trouble.
Because the elephant wouldn't fit in the gates.
You were the first emergency.
When someone would send when they put that big brass state statue of Bart Cummings down the back here at Flemington. They said, Roy, you were part of him for so long, so why they didn't do a statuette of you beside him? Why didn't they? They said they didn't have enough brass.
Looking forward to the Legends race. It's great to have all these wonderful names here, isn't it?
The interesting part, I see the boys, a couple of the boys being wired up.
Yes.
So we're going to hear them during the running of the race. And I just told Simon, if someone knocks you down, don't say what you used to say when you got knocked down,
just like,
because it'll go all over.
Drat.
Yeah, drat.
All right, thanks, Roy. Roy Higgins, courtesy of Sport 927. We've got a late scratching in the last today. Number 10, Astig, is out. Number 10, Astig, late scratching from the final event here at Flemington. Now, that Legends race is coming up at about 1:40, so it's between this event and the next event. And Julie Crone is down here in the mounting yard with us at the moment, getting wired up and getting ready for her assignment in the Emirates Airline Legends race, the great jockey from the United States. And she'll be carrying the microphone, as well as John Letts and also Simon Marshall. There's the shot from the Hertz blimp, and there's the shot from the ground to the Hertz blimp, providing us with these wonderful pictures. Maybe grey skies here at Flemington. We've got a really good day of racing, really exciting day, and a good family day where the youngsters get out here with mums and dads and aunties and uncles and grandpas and grandmas, and they see the racing close up, and hopefully will keep on coming back for a long time, because after all, it is the biggest party in Australia, and it has been for many, many years and will be for a long time to come. There's Keffel out behind the gates. As we said, Welsh for horse, so that's the pronunciation of that. And there's keepers, Greg Hallsmouth, about to be inserted into the gates here for the running of the fourth event. We didn't have a lot of time to mention it before with Gary Willits, but Gary, I will congratulate you again, because you had a very pleasant surprise when you got home from the races the other day.
Yes, I certainly did, Peter, and it's, it was quite an honour to get the Australian Sports Medal, and it's nice to be recognised. But back to the more important things here, I like the look of the three here, Dan. Lord Dane, I thought he looked very well going to the barrier. And El Nino, number 7, and the 1 Keffel. I thought they looked pretty good.
Big grey Keffel, got plenty of weight, 58 kilos. Patrick Payne, so he's got soft hands. The horses seem to settle for Patrick.
Yeah, they do. He rates them good, and like if he was a bit lighter, he'd have been a superstar, Paddy.
Hey, Dan, just before they move in, can I just ask a word of advice from you?
Yeah.
Haven't called a race for a while. Any tips for me?
Oh, just as long as they're not all greys, Pete. No, mate, you'd be right. You've called plenty in the past. I'm sure you're looking forward to it. You'll do a great job. I'm looking forward to you calling it. Don't worry about that.
Well, actually, what I'm going to do, just to let people know, I'm going to call the jockeys rather than the horses, because that's where the interest lays. But I'm also, don't expect me to call it as a race. What I want to do, and what I want to let you do watching at home, is to hear what's going on in the race, especially when we've got 3 microphones on the riders, and hopefully most of it will be usable.
Have you got a bleeper?
What's that?
Have you got a bleeper?
Yeah, I think we're going to have the 7-second delay on. So that's the way we're going to do it. We're not handling it as a serious race call. We just want to bring you the atmosphere. Just before we go back to Dan and Gary, Tim Gossage with a last-minute update from the betting ring.
Yeah, still plenty of money on the top weight Keffel, Peter, and also now good money at longer odds for number 5, Polish Echo. But Keffel is a big plunge here in the ring for the 4th race.
OK, boys, in the commentary box, it's all yours.
Thank you, Pete. Good luck with that. I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Thanks, mate.
And John Letts, just if they want it to win, the Letsy's horse, all they've got to do is show him the photo of him in drag, and it'll just bolt.
Who do you reckon will be able to talk the most, him or Donna?
A dead heat between Julie Crone and John Letts.
Yeah, that's right.
It should be a lot of fun.
This is a tough race, Dan.
Yeah, it is.
There's
There's
chances.
depth there. A few horses I would think that possibly will go into the Sandown Guineas, and they're good quality horses.
Yeah.
Keffel certainly. It's had terrific support.
Yeah, gee, the horse of John Morrissey down the bottom, number 13, Zora's Lad. He's a beautiful looking horse. Oh, he's a Danehill, no wonder. He just leaves his stamp on them. And,
He certainly does, doesn't he?
yeah, just a beautiful looking horse. Just took your eye. In fact, a few of those that haven't raced much, they do look well. Tuscola and one of Tony Noonan's, the opener, number 9. But whether they've just got the experience in a race like this.
Striking Archway ready, and Rekhabar out of the line, which is number 10. It's the outsider in the field of 13.
It'll be interesting. I think they'll come out about 4 or 5 off the inside rail in this, Dan.
Generally, when one jockey does it, they all seem to follow it. It becomes a pattern pretty quickly, Gary.
It does, and that track, like as I said, it was just new ground out there because it hadn't been raced on.
And the official track rating did, but everyone agrees it's on the better side of it. They're just shifting away from the fence now. Now they're all locked away. The Sutcliffe Stakes over 1,400 metres. And they're off and racing now. It was a pretty good line. Rekhabar a bit slow. Surfboard in search of the lead and will work its way across the face of the field. Zorro's Lad was handy and pushing through nearer the inside. Also was Desert Eagle as they settled with further out striking Archway. Tuscola's pulling its way through down towards the inside. Now El Nino seemed to get into some bother there, and it checked Keeper. They're out towards the back of the field. They're well bunched on settling. Tuscola led from Lord Dane up to second. Zorro's Lad third, then Surfboard striking Archway wide. About 2 lengths away, Desert Eagle on the inside of Kelshiki. Polish Echo next, and then Careful El Nino racing 3 deep from Keeper, Rekkabar, and Openers back along the inside, but they're well bunched as they swing up to the turn with about 600 metres to travel. Tuscola is down towards the rails with Zorro's Lad. Wider out, Lord Dane striking Archway. El Nino, one of the widest runners, coming around the turn from Surfboard, then Kelshiki and Desert Eagle. It's Zorro's Lad with a shortcut through along the inside, moved up to take up the running. Lord Dane after it, striking Archway. Keeper El Nino wider out, and then Careful about 5 lengths off the lead. Zorro's Lad the leader, coming in after to the stablemates now. Desert Eagle and Lord Dane, then Kelshiki. Now Careful into the clear, and it's winding up strongly. Desert Eagle goes up to Zorro's Lad. Careful challenging late. It's Desert Eagle with 100 to go, drawing a half a length in front of Zorro's Lad, but it's Desert Eagle holding Zorro's Lad and Careful. Desert Eagle wins it. Second, Careful probably right on the line will get that placing in front of Zorro's Lad, then Lord Dane. Polish Echo next from Kelshiki, then striking Archway. Keeper in bother shortly after the start, so was El Nino, and then came open at Tuscola Weekend, Surfboard and Rekkabar at the back of the field.
Well, Brett Preble, that's his 7th winner for the meeting now on Desert Eagle. I went for the other one of Matthew Ellington's, Lord Dane, but he certainly got him home. Great jockey.
Careful just seemed to lose its spot around the turn. He got into the clear, had too much ground to make up with his big weight, but he did knuckle down well.
Well, that's right. He was giving, 6 kilos to Desert Eagle. It's hard to make that ground up.
Now, the third horse was closest to the fence, and Desert Eagle also had a path nearer the inside. Just wondering whether, some of them overdo it, Gary?
They might have, yes. It's here's the replay now. It's Desert Eagle just going up to Zorro's Lad. He's a beautiful looking horse, that Zorro's Lad. He took my eye, just when I saw him at the start. Danehill, good horses. And here's Careful on the outside, the grey. Getting home well, but when you've got 58 on your back, it's hard to make the ground up. You just struggle. Your horse really has to pull out that extra bit to get there. And this lighter weighted horse, well, the two in front of him have both got 52 kilos. And that's why he's unable to sort of reel them in. But he's done a good job. He's got home pretty good here.
8, 1 and 13 are the official numbers there, Pete, on the 4th event. Matthew Ellington, Brett Preble, his 7th winner for the Carnival.
Yes, he's flying, and we just saw the story that we put together on Matthew Ellington, how hard he works, and you're reaping the rewards, Wayne. Well done.
Yeah, it was good to have a winner and finish off the Carnival as a winner.
Just got the break on Careful, who got into trouble, just lost his spot around there at the turn, and you were able to kick 2 or 3 lengths away from him.
Yeah, look, the horse ended up having the run of the race. He was, back in behind them, and he's got a lot of raw ability, the horse. I thought he might have found it a little bit beyond him today, but to the horse's credit, he fought on strongly and won well.
So of the two, you probably fancied Lord Dane.
Oh, of course, he ended up having an indifferent run in the race, I thought. He's probably out wide, and Jim's obviously looking for the better going. Brett had the light weight and pushed through up the middle. So
finally, had the big black horse pull up after his win the other day?
Yeah, he pulled up very well. He's in the paddock as we speak, so he's just going to have a little bit of a freshen up.
Okay, so I spoke to you about Hong Kong the other day, and you said the invitations aren't out. So is Hong Kong now not an option, or will you still maybe press on with that?
Yeah, we're going to bring him back in next week.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll go to Hong Kong.
So just a mini freshen up, and you can have one as well because the big week's just about over.
Yeah, it is. Thanks.
Good on you, Matty.
Thanks, Peter.
Matthew Ellington, the winning trainer, with Desert Eagle number 8, taking out the money in race number 4 on the card. Stay with us. There's the finishing order after the 4th. The Legends race is getting ever closer with some of the greatest jockeys from around the world, and arguably the greatest of them all. Lester Piggott will be in action here at Flemington, and you'll see it here on Network 10 as our coverage of the final day of the 2000 Melbourne Cup Carnival continues.
From the moment.
Back with you at Flemington after the 4th on the final day of the Carnival, the Sutcliffe Stakes, and we have seen quite an impressive performance there from number 8, Desert Eagle. I particularly like the run of Careful, though, in second placing. Janet didn't have any luck and was nearly had to go sideways at the 400-metre mark to get a run.
Yes, that's true. And there was a bit of interference early too. Tuscola got skittled as well, but still didn't run on him. It was quite disappointing.
Yeah, I think Keffel will make the step up to better company than that.
Yes.
Given the fact that he's carried 58 today and he didn't have the best of luck, I think he'll win better races, and we should keep our eye out for him. Oh, we're about to get the weight signal after the fourth. There it is. So weight right from Mr. Des Gleeson, brought to you by Toshiba. Numbers are 8, 1 and 13, with Keffel running second and Zorro's Lad running third. So let's pay you the dividends all around Australia. Dan Malicki.
Desert Eagle, $22.50 and $5.90. So big odds. Brett Preble, the winning rider, $1.90 for Keffel, and Zorro's Lad $5.50. Quinella $71.10. Exacta $191.70. The trifecta $2,338.70, and the running double for 3 and 8 paid $80.10. So bookies with that little smile appearing on their faces again, Tim.
Oh, why not? Just put the cherry on top of the cake for them, Dan. Yes, Keffel was a big go and very unlucky, as you saw, but they certainly got the money. And who would have thought that Brett Preble would ride a 20-to-1 winner after being so successful so far in the Melbourne Cup Carnival? Let's move on, though, and try and find one. We're running out of races. The Hilton on the Park sprint over 1,100 metres, and opening up favourite is number 6, Tilt the Scales. Also in commission, number 2, Bomber Bill, and number 14, Windigo. And Peter had a dream that Bomber Bill won during the Carnival, and the dreams come true.
Oh, everyone's dreaming.
No, do they come true?
Well, according to Michael Moroney, they do.
Well, there you go.
So stick with it. Okay. Bomber Bill. Tim Gossage has been dreaming about horses. There you go. Bomber Bill, $5.70. And St Christoph at $7.90. The favourite has hit the scales, number 6. My tip in the race, Jem, because I thought it went super the other day in the Salinger.
Yes, well, definitely one of the major chances in the race, Peter. I like number 5, Suit. He was eased the last 100 metres or so, a little bit tight in the straight there at Caulfield. And he's had 2 runs in. He goes well down the straight. He's been placed 3 times here. And from barrier 14, he might just be in the right part of the track. I thought number 6, Tilt the Scales, was the hardest to beat. Number 2, Bomber Bill, is so consistent.
Well, there you go. Jen's trifecta is our trifecta, because they're the 3 that we've come up with. Suit from Jenny, Bomber Bill from Richard and Letzi, Tilt the Scales from myself, Dan and Gary for race 5, the Hilton on the Park sprint over 1,100 metres, and that is 300 metres further than the Legends race. And let's have a look at the Strathfield Race Predictor, brought to you by our friends at Pineapple Head, as we zoom down to the track, and away they go. And as we say, we'll have the horses coming down the outside. I don't think there's any question they'll all be trying to get to the outside rail.
Well, you can see there that they're trying to get out to the middle. They're avoiding the fence, that's for sure. And, well, I suppose that's going to be the pattern. But, of course, this is a straight race, as you can see there. And, likewise, the others came down the straight in the earlier straight races, and there'll be no difference.
Yes, some people will no doubt be having a go at this track at the end of the day because the horses are rolling off the fence, but I think they've done a fantastic job. Looked as though we were going to race on a heavy track on Melbourne Cup Day at one stage, and the track's just held up to the racing remarkably.
They have done a great job. They got a lot of criticism before Derby Day, and look, there is a lot of racing here over the Carnival, so the track does have to take some wear and tear.
6, 11 and 4 from the Strathfield Race Predictor, so it's along with me on Tilt the Scales and Dan and Danny. Dan and Danny, how well am I going? Dan and Gary before the running of race 5, the Hilton on the Park sprint. There's still some bubbling left over after Oaks Day. Hi, girls. I didn't think there would be any, Jen, because when we got to the Champagne Bar the other day, it was going like there was no tomorrow.
It must have been 500 deep to try and get in there.
All right, presentation is ready. Let's go to the Managing Director of Sutcliffe Interiors, Mr. Jeff Sutcliffe.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it's been nearly 30 years that Sutcliffe Interiors has been supplying quality office furniture to the Australian business industry. It's nearly half that time that we've enjoyed sponsoring a race at this magnificent Melbourne Cup Carnival. And saying that, I'd like to thank the VRC and all the staff for their wonderful support they give us. There's another tradition that we like to follow, and that is that we present one of our chairs to the winner's owner, trainer and jockey. And today we have a magnificent chair, an ergonomic chair from STEM Industries, and it's a great chair that we're very proud to give. We congratulate the winner, and we would like to present the trophy for the chair to the owner. David Moody represents the syndicate, and David, we'd like to give you this beautiful chair. Thanks, David.
So David Moody will be nice and comfortable when he sits in his office at Flemington here and manages all of those horses at Hobson's Lodge after the win of that horse, race number 4, number 8, Dashing Eagle. The Hilton on the Park Sprint is the next, Jen, and it is due at 5 minutes after 2. We'll be back to Flemington very soon.
I've crossed deserts for miles, swam water for time, searching places to find a piece of something to call mine. A piece of something to call mine. Coming closer to you. Ran along many moors, walked through many doors.
And here at Flemington, as we welcome you back, we are seeing the Legends jockeys being introduced to the crowd. What a collection of riders, some of the greatest we've ever seen, Jen.
It's just fantastic. I think it's a great idea by the VRC. And there's Johnny, our mate Johnny. Good luck. And good luck to him too.
Yeah, he's talking away there, as usual. And, of course, we've got the great Lester Piggott, the greatest jockey of all time. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No, I totally agree with you there. He's just been fantastic to the racing industry right throughout the world. But, Peter, just having a look at some of these runners, there's a couple that are a little toey.
I'll tell you what, Bobby Vance will be toey in a minute when he gets to his horse and sees how it is, and that horse is mighty fine.
Well, he's just starting to settle down a little bit, but he does go fast, that horse. He's got a very good chance in the race. Number 1 also for Julie Crone is a little bit on its toes, so let's hope they settle down, don't give them a hard time.
Let's hope so. Now, as far as I know, the barrier stalls are going to be placed on the outside rail. There was a bit of discussion about that yesterday. They were going to put them on the inside, and then they've decided that they'll put the stalls up against the outside rail because that's probably the better part of the track and also gives the people a chance to get closer to these great jockeys.
Yes.
There's Julie?
Yes, well, you know, Julie's got a book out. I read her book. It's a great read. You know, it goes right through her life and how she started and all the things she had to go through to become a very top lady jockey.
OK, well, a little while ago, Mark Aston caught up with some of the legends.
The Emirate Classic coming up very shortly, over 800 metres, 10 of the very best jockeys from around the world. Bobby Vance is one of them. You look pretty relaxed, Bob.
Yeah, I've been riding a few horses in the mornings. I'm pretty conditioned to it.
Ah, so you're taking it seriously?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. What do you feel? What do you think about the others? Do you think the others are taking it as seriously?
Oh, sure. I think everybody's very serious about it.
Peter Scudamore, how are you feeling?
Yes, very hopeful. Bit heavy, but very hopeful.
And have you been doing a bit of work?
Yeah, I'm quite fit. Like Bobby, I ride a lot of track work and keep myself fit. So I'm a little bit less nervous than the last time I was sat here. I was about to go and ride in a hurdle race. So.
Are you happy with your barrier?
I'm happy with my barrier. It's all up to me now.
And are you going to stick with it?
I'm going to. Well, I think so, unless somebody buys it off me.
Peter, good luck. OK, we might just go and have a quick word to Lester Piggott. Doesn't say a lot, but what he does say is very important, Lester. Just very quickly, this is going to be a big race for you. How are you feeling?
I think we're all getting a bit excited. You know?
Are you getting a bit excited now? I can tell. Now, what barrier have you got?
8.
8. Are you happy with that?
Yeah. Should be
So, you're going to be a bit sore after this, do you reckon?
No.
You'll be OK?
We'll be straight. You know?
Watch out for Johnny Letts. OK? Yeah, he's a real scallywag. Simon Marshall's looking for something. I don't know what he's looking for. Is it the book?
Actually, Mark, I'm looking for the hooks. I'm going to give this one a good dig today. I've got to jump and win the kick. Good. I'm going to come straight across and duke him because if I cop a suspension, it'll only be 12 months till next year. But no, apparently mine gets back a little bit. It'll get through the going well. Plan of attack is just to sit off them early, have a good look at the guys around me. I want to have a look at their styles and whatnot. And when I hit the course proper, I'll be making a beeline.